I'm going to be sharing with you guys the one-on-one presentation. So how do you take someone from scratch, literally taking them from point A through Z? And when I mean through Z is getting them started within the company. So there's a few things to keep in mind. So number one is that starting day one, you should know, or at least we're going to let you know now if you didn't know this, that you don't need a license to go out and recruit people. You don't. You could go immediately start focusing on building your team. At least that's what I would do. If I were to go back and start all over again, I would be getting after it so much more by focusing out there and sharing the opportunity. Trust me, if you keep planting seeds and you keep planting seeds with folks, the seeds are going to fall on the right people. So all we could do is share the opportunity. So I'm going to walk you through an outline of the one-on-one presentation, which I believe is a winning presentation that I've used over the years. And we're going back now and just fine-tune it. So I'm going to go ahead and write the outline. So one-on-one. So the first thing is you're going to share who we are and what we do. That's step one. So I'm going to share with you how to introduce who we are and what we do. After you do that, the second part of the outline is you're going to share our training. The training that we have at Difference, our Difference University. That's something new that we're launching that we're super excited about. So you're going to talk specifically about our training, how we have hands down the best training out there to get an entrepreneur or someone who wants to become a business owner, an entrepreneur, and take them literally by the hand and show them how to build a business. The third is licensing. This is a licensed profession. So we're going to share with you what licensing is required, where to go get the license, what steps you need to take to do that so that you could get licensed, so that you could get compensated in what we do. Number 4 is clients. How we get our clients. That's a common concern or question. Well, who do we market to? Do you guys provide leads? What do we do? How do I get the word across or the message across to people? So I'm going to share with you our clients. How we get those. The next one is compensation. Now, of course, if anybody's going to invest their time and energy and spend time away from their family or other things they could be doing, then they're going to actually want to know, is it worth it, right? What type of compensation is involved? And then the sixth one is what options are involved. What are my options? If I want to get started, if I wanted to do this part-time, have a twin career, if I want to do it full-time, what is involved? What's the time involvement? What type of commitment? Right? And then the last one, number 7, is commitment. That's the last one. Who we are and what we do, that's the first step. The second part of it, of the outline, is training. Then it goes into licensing, how we get our clients, our compensation model, how that works. I'm going to just share with you some of the basics. And then the options that are involved for somebody who's possibly looking at this as a twin career or an opportunity for them. And then also the commitment. I want to get a time commitment from them. So I want to look at their actual schedule. So I just gave you the outline just a second ago, which is the outline for a winning one-on-one presentation. Literally what I'm going to share with you right now has been the presentation that I used over the years to go out and recruit people. So the one thing that I want you to keep in mind, and there are some points to highlight, I'm going to go ahead and put this downloadable sheet that's going to be a part of this training so that you guys could have this to reference the outline itself as you're taking notes. I'm going to go over a couple of things that I would, if I were you, what I would have in my hand. Like for instance, I would have a binder of some kind where I have my notebook, where I have a scratch paper, obviously, like a yellow pad to write on to share the presentation. And I'd also have some AMAs in hand. If you are planning on recruiting somebody, I would have those AMAs at hand. Or nowadays, if you're more tech savvy, I would have a computer. I like this little skinny computer because it fits in here, it's non-threatening, and I can pull it out with my binder. It's my Surface Pro. Now, I'm not sponsored by Surface Pro, but you get the drift. As long as you're non-threatening, you have everything in your hands, you're ready to go. The last thing you ever want to have is be caught with not having your tools. Someone's excited, they want to get going, and you don't have your tools. You just kind of blew it, right? That's the last thing you want to have. So the things for you to there's some highlights or some points for you to highlight is you got to sell the dream. You got to sell the dream. What does that exactly mean? For instance, you got involved with Difference because there's something inside of you that's that's fired up inside them. Maybe you're motivated because you want to, be the hero for your family. You want to be that example for your children. Whether you just want to you're just sick and tired of having a boss and someone breathing down your neck. I don't know what it is for you, but there's something that's motivating you, or that motivated you to take action and to get involved, right? Difference is that vehicle that's going to help you get to your goals. And so share your 2-minute story. Share why difference, why you're enjoying being a part of the company or this organization. And you also have to highlight that it's a business that's simple, it's easy to do, but you have to be willing to commit and put the time into it, right? So don't make it this complex, very sophisticated, something that goes over the head. Share the picture or paint that picture that it's simple, that anybody from any background can do. So you're also highlighting the fact that if you didn't come from the financial services, like for instance myself, I had an engineering background and I came into a complete new industry and was willing to move forward with it because my dreams were so much more bigger than staying as an engineer, right? And so I decided personally to make a career change by first starting off by having a twin career, and then I was able to replace my income. Now, you don't have to go full-time, so don't make people feel or pressure them that they have to jump into this full-time. I kind of get that a lot from a lot of folks. Oh, you mean I have to do this full-time? You don't have to do it full-time, but you have to be able to paint that picture that they could do this as a twin career and supplement their income. The other thing too is highlight the crusade, which you're gonna see it as I'm going through the presentation, that it's actually highlighted. What we do is meaningful. It's something that's impactful, and we're changing people's lives. So make sure you highlight that crusade, champion our cause, right? Our mission and what we're doing out there to help families achieve their dreams. And then the last one is there is money to be made here, right? That they could actually make money at whatever level from the very beginning, as if they really get this going right and follow our system, that they can make money as they're learning this business and as they're building their future. So it's a very powerful opportunity. So I wanted to make sure that you don't forget that, you highlight that, you express why you're doing it. It's really, at the end of the day, your presentation, even if it's not all pretty and perfect, which is not going to be in the beginning, you're going to say all the wrong things probably. I know I was when I was brand new. I was nervous. I was sweating. My light blue shirt like this turned navy blue. I mean, because it was all full of sweat, literally. So be prepared to go through that, but understand that people are looking at you. They're looking to see if in your eyes you really mean what you're saying. And they're thinking to themselves, what if he's really being honest? What if I could do this? What if this could help me, relieve some financial stress? So those things are happening. I think more people have fear of loss, where they're like scared not to give it a shot. But you have to be that person willing to give them a little hit in the butt and pour a little belief in them. And say, hey, you could do this too. If I'm doing this, you could totally do this. And if they challenge you, like, well, are you making money yet? Because I know when you're brand new, you're thinking, what if they ask me if I'm making money? And you get kind of scared and you're freaked out. I hope they don't ask me that. Be honest, right? You're probably, if you were like I was when I was brand new, I had that as one of my biggest fears. What if they ask me, are you making money yet? And I wasn't even licensed, right? So I would say, you know what? I'm not there yet, but I am on track to do X. And I know that by this time next year, I'm going to be here. And that's what fires me up. That's what excites me. The fact that I know that I'm on track and I'm around people that are successful, that are helping me to do that. What are you doing? I don't know all the details yet, but I think you and I, if we partner up and lock arms together and get after it, we can learn this together, but we can kick some butt. Let's go make this happen together. I'd love to be in business with you. And that's what recruiting is. So I'm going to go through the presentation. I'm going to share with you how simple it is. And it should be the exact same way every single time. Every single time, if you were to take your yellow pad and rip out the presentation every single time, it's going to be the exact same presentation. You could put them on top of each other and it's the exact same thing every single time. The only way that could happen for you is if you do it over and over and over. I remember my first 10 appointments, all of them said no, but I was fired up. That was after 2 weeks being in business. So I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to invite you to take action. You could go recruit as big as you want to. You could build a team as big as you want to, and you could do that day one without having to have a license. You don't need a license to go out there and share the opportunity. The people that really get it, guys, the people that really get it are juggling right in the beginning. They're learning the pieces of the business. They're learning our system. They're going through the field training process, but they're out there sharing the opportunity. Because if you get the bigger vision, the bigger picture of it, can you imagine, what would you rather do? Be licensed in 30 days and have a team of 10, or be licensed in 30 days and have a team of 0? Right? I'd rather have a team of 10. Even if it took me 2 or 3 months to get licensed, but I had a team of 20 or 30 people, that makes so much more sense for me. Of course, it's something you got to be willing to get out of your comfort. But if it's good for you, it's good for everybody else that you know. Why not? Share it. Let the chips fall where they may. If they ever say no, it's not for them, don't take it personal. You just got to be thinking to yourself, how can I get better at sharing our story so that people are empowered and want to take action, right? But again, at the end of the day, they're buying you. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this, and I'm going to go over the presentation. So who we are is the first place to start. First place you got to start with when you're talking to somebody is get to know them, build a little bit of rapport, and say, hey, do you see yourself? If I was talking to Melissa, I'd be, Melissa, do you see yourself at your current career for the next 15, 20 years? Is your current career allowing you to live your dreams? I don't know if, I know we never talked about this before, but are you earning the income that you're deserving of? Do you feel like you're getting paid what you're worth? Are there things that you think about? So if you ask those type of questions, what are you doing what's your exit strategy? I don't know if you've thought about these. What are some of the goals that you think about that cost money? And so really start pouring in like, hey, did right now at your current career, and I'm going to use Melissa to pick on her because she's right here behind the camera, did you dream that being a teacher, your life would be exactly the way it is right now? Did you envision more for your life? Do you want more? Are you completely happy in every area of your life? Do you feel like, all of it at the end of the day is when you're asking those questions, I'm going to say, look, let me share with you why I chose to get involved with Difference. Of course, you know that my background was in engineering, but I made a decision to do this and start part-time, and I love the fact that I was able to have a twin career and I could be around people that are successful, that are teaching me about the world of finance, but bigger than that, to teach me how to be an entrepreneur, how to develop into a business person, how to develop into a leader, how to grow as an individual. And that to me excites me, to rub shoulders around people that are running in this direction of success. If you're like I am, as a small kid, I desired more. And so I would go into my 2-minute story. I'm not going to go into all the details right now, but I would be sharing with them, this is why I decided to move forward. This is why I'm excited about it. This is what I love about what I'm doing right now. And this is on track. This is the pace that I'm at to be able to get there. Now, let me share with you about the company. Have you ever heard of Difference Financial before? More than likely, they're going to say they haven't. And I'll say, well, you probably haven't because we don't have any commercials as of now. We don't have any advertisement. But you probably are familiar with some of the companies we represent. You've probably heard of Allianz. You've probably heard of National Life Group or even Fidelity. There's a long list of companies that we represent in the financial and in the insurance industry. Now, are you familiar with the financial and insurance industry? Most people, even if they say they are, don't assume that they're experts. Some people just like to say, yes, I know a little bit, just because they don't want to sound like they don't know nothing. So just don't take it for value. And if they do, say that's awesome. So look, let me just share with you a little bit about what separates us from other companies in the industry and what makes us unique. And you're probably familiar with companies like your Morgan Stanley or your Merrill Lynch, your Dean Witters. You've probably heard of these wirehouses, right? These big firms that focus on this 98% of the U.S. These are folks that earn or that have at least $1 million in assets or more, right? These are the wealthier people. These companies here are focusing on helping the wealthy, the affluent, invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, unit investment trusts, pretty much the stock market. They've been able to successfully help their clients receive anywhere between 6 to 12% when you look at their long-term investments. Now, on the other hand, this was actually 2%. The other 98%, who's helping these folks? Definitely these companies here, they're not helping the everyday American, right? The janitor, the construction worker, the engineer, even some, a lot of teachers to even some doctors. A lot of people that fall within that range. It's the majority of the makeup of the U.S. These are folks that are making between $10,000 to $249,000 a year, right? One thing that I love about Difference is, yes, we do have a lot of affluent clients and we have the experience, the products, the technology to be able to help a lot of folks here. But our focus and our passion lies here. We believe that these folks here are completely being overlooked and underserved by our industry. So from a business, if you put on your business hat on, the beautiful part is that we actually help 100%, but our focus is right here. For instance, when I was working as an engineer, I never received a phone call from anyone here. I actually wasn't even earning this type of income as an engineer. But yet, as a kid, I dreamed of having success and being able to have more in my life, but I wasn't having the level of success that I imagined or that I dreamed of. So, and even when I did get to this point, I still never got a call over here, which is interesting. So now let's look over here. Where do people put their money? What's the most simplest place?
Banks.
In the banks, right? They put in a savings account, a checkings account, maybe a certificate of deposit. The key question I ask here is, well, what's the average rate of return that banks are offering? And the reason I ask that, and I'm just saying this to you as a side note, is because you want to get a gauge to see how in tune they are with the reality of what the banks are doing right now in the marketplace. Well, on average, it's anywhere between 0 to maybe 1%. That would be the average. Some certificates of deposit, slightly a little bit more, depending on the amount of years you put it away for. But I want you to look at this a little bit closer. As you start to examine this, it doesn't matter if you're making great money or making good money. Here's what's happening to all of us, and I'll get into this in a second, but let's move this a little bit. Let's look at this a little bit closer. One thing that's affecting all of us is the cost of living is growing at approximately 4% per year. So this is known as inflation. Right, so if you bought milk today, 20 years ago, it was a lot cheaper than it is today. You could go down a whole list of products that are a lot more expensive today than it was 10, 20 years ago. Now here, as these families could afford the advice and they're taking 12 steps forward in their investments and they're going negative 4 steps, they're still well ahead of the game by 8 steps. So they're doing well, and they should be, right? Because they could afford the advice, and that's awesome. But on this side, majority of American families, they can't even take a step forward because they're actually going in the negative direction. Right? So it's kind of like that old saying, as the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. So one of the things that I love that we're doing as a company is, like I mentioned, we're focused here and we're trying to get these folks from here to over here. And we're doing that through means of education. We believe that if you educate people, it empowers them to make better decisions when it comes to their money. And I'll be frank with you, I literally don't, I just don't think people they're not dumb. I think if you show them options and you could educate them, they can make better decisions for themselves, period. You know, think about it. If you walked into your bank, say you had, and not to knock on any of these banks, I'm just going to use random names. Let's say you walked into B of A. B of A is a business, so it's all about their agenda. They're going to sell you what's on their shelves. They're not going to tell you, hey, go across the street to Chase. They're offering a slight bit better rate. No, they're going to try to sell you what's on their shelves. It's all about their agenda. If you go to an insurance company, every insurance company says they're number one. You're in good hands. We're your neighbor. There are all these slogans, right? But who the heck is number one? I must admit, I got to tell you that what's number one to you might be different than your neighbor. It might be another company might be number one for them. So I always tell all our clients, hey, look, I represent you. It's whatever best fits you. So we're going to bring a non-biased approach, and that's pretty powerful. And so again, everything that we do is through means of education. We want to empower people so that you can now position yourself to get to your goals and dreams, which is really, really exciting. So let me just share with you the business side. So obviously this right here is such a powerful and contagious story. That's why so many people come to us and they refer us to their uncles and aunts, and they want to talk to us, because not many companies, I mean, I don't know if you know of any companies that are out there doing it the good old-fashioned way, kneecap to kneecap, and literally helping families that probably wouldn't otherwise receive the information that I'm about to share with you. But what I really want to talk to you about today is actually the business side. You're not going to understand all the concepts in one day, but we're definitely going to take care of you, because all our associates that come into business with us, we take care of them. I'm not going to say I'm the expert of everything, because I'm not, but if there's ever questions in specific areas, we have experts around us, and we're able to bring that type of leverage, that type of access, which makes us even more powerful. So we literally can help anybody, which is really amazing. So I'm going to share with you next, actually, our training that's involved, because that's really what I'm more interested in sharing with you, because as far as helping you, that's a no-brainer. So let me go ahead and share with you the training. So far, you guys capturing this? Yeah? Awesome. So let's talk about step 2 in this process. So now what I do is I flip the page. That was just the first page on my yellow pad. So if I had my yellow pad, that would be my first page. I'll take up the whole thing. Just that alone, isn't that story pretty powerful? Where it's just like, wow, but you got to practice it to where you get to that point where it's just fluid. You're sharing the story, and it's always the same way. And I'm telling you guys, practice, 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 but don't be scared to practice it with real people. You're going to mess it up, and that's okay. And be excited about it. What excites me the most and excites the leadership in our company the most is that you're taking action and you're willing to get in the ring. You're willing to take punches and to get punched, right? But you're willing to fight. That's the key. So let's talk about now the training. The training, it actually consists of classroom training, webinar style training, so it's very flexible. And it also consists of what I believe the most powerful type of training. If you could have anybody show you hands-on, especially a successful person, a professional that's having success in our industry, wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? Well, we have that. You're going to have some of the top producers and professionals in our company that are amazing. They're doing amazing things by families, and they're going to take you by the hand and show you hands-on how to do that. And we call that field training. So there's the first type is the classroom style, which we have on Tuesdays. In Los Angeles, we have them from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and we train here on our system. We teach you our lead referral model. That's one part of it. Sometimes we'll teach also on how we get our clients. We do case studies. So we try to do a mixture of different types of trainings, but what we truly want to emphasize is we want to build you up as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. So we want you to understand our business philosophy, our model, because literally our system is priceless. It's bulletproof. It's timeless. Anybody from any background can do it. So we really emphasize a lot on our system. And then that's our classroom style. On Saturdays, sometimes we also do those. Right now, we're doing them every other week. We're going to get to a consistent basis of every week. I know in San Diego, they do them every single Saturday. And that's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We also train on our system. We also do money seminars. We do corporate overviews during these two times as well. And then webinars. Right now we're back on a consistent basis on every single Friday at noon. So even if you're thinking to yourself, gosh, well, I work. Well, if you take a break during lunch at noon, I think that's a great opportunity to be able to take your lunch while you're taking notes and learning, right? If I were you, I'd be finding every single moment possible, any minute, any hour possible to be squeezing in, to be working on my future, to be working on my business. At least that's what I would do. Now, if you miss it, good news. We have replays and we have what we call our Difference University, which is amazing. This is the university for entrepreneurs, for leaders, for business people. This is where we literally, again, are teaching you how to become that leader, that entrepreneur, to be successful in business. So we plug those in here as well so you can catch the replays. And only Difference Associates have access to this. Now, the other area is our field training. This is flexible. It's any time. It's around your schedule. I believe in 1 hour worth of training here, it's so much more than 20 or 30 hours combined in a classroom. There's just nothing like hands-on training. I still remember my very first appointment. It was life-changing for me, and I'm going to give you as a testimony. The most important thing that I ever wanted was to be that hero or that rock for my parents. And I still remember bringing a gentleman by the name of Fernando Lasso over to the little town of Arvin, population about 5,000 or so, 1 square mile, 1 stoplight. Now there's 3 stoplights. You've heard my background. If you haven't, it literally was that booming of a city. And I remember when we were sitting with my mom and dad, and just the expression, the look in their eyes, that it was stuff that they thought about, but just didn't know where to get that help. And when I walked over to the kitchen to get some water, I remember my dad was doing paperwork with Fernando, and my mom walked over and she looked at me and she had almost these tears in her eyes. She said, Dago, I just wanted to say thank you, because for the first time we feel this sense of relief that we actually have a plan for ourselves. And I get emotional just thinking about it now, because all I ever wanted to do was make them proud. All I ever wanted to do was just be able to help them. I wasn't thinking about making a buck with them, and I didn't really care. That's not what it was about. But I wanted to be able to bring something to my home, and I think that's where it took it from here to here, because it just was driven so much more deeper, that what we're doing is really life-changing. So hands-on, guys, there's no way in the world I could share with you example and over example and example of all these different stories that are probably similar to that, but you're not going to get the same experience. If you were that trainee, if you were in my shoes observing that in your own household, then that's where you get the crusade. That's where you get what we're all about, because you took it home. And there's just nothing. That's just nothing that could compare to live hands-on training. So this is our actual training. Now, in order to participate in that type of a training, or even to get actually, let me just switch gears. The next thing that I want to share with you before this is, anybody about that gets started that's part-time, that puts in about 10 to 15 hours part-time can actually do this. Now, how's your schedule? So I want to ask them, you know, how's your schedule look like over there? And if they say, well, I'm super busy and I got this going on, well, let's paint that picture. What does busy really mean? Because typically when people say they don't have no time, it's just that they're not really organized or they just haven't put it on paper. So if you actually help them do that and you could find those gaps, so it looks like you got Tuesdays available in the evening and you also have Fridays and you also have the weekends. So we could make it work during those times. So that way there is no excuse. You just laid it out in front of them, right? So make sure that you get that commitment. So this is our training. So the next thing that I want to share with you, and I typically draw it right here, right underneath it. I want to talk to you about our licensing because this is a licensed profession. I'm going to go ahead and erase it, but I typically write it in this specific order. So keep that in mind, okay? So here's how the licensing works. Everybody that gets involved with Difference is an independent contractor, so we don't sponsor anybody's license. And the reason we do that, or we don't sponsor it, is because imagine if we pay for your license and you decide to go across the street and work with the competitor or some other company. Well, we're not in the business of losing money and just helping people get licensed so they can leave. It's your license. If you decide to leave, you could take it with you. It's your license. So in California, obviously, whatever state you're at, it could be totally different. You have to look up. If you're in Arizona, look up Arizona and what the requirements are there. If you're in Washington, etc. But in California, just for the sake of this presentation, California requires individuals that want to get licensed to take a 32-hour course. Now, the beautiful thing is that you could actually do it online. You could do it on your smartphone. It's broken up into two parts. You have a 20-hour course and you have a 12-hour course, and this is approximately about $80. So it's not too bad, right? And you could break it up into two parts. It's $40 and $40. So you could actually just say, hey, I'll start with the 20 hours right away. We want you to get this stuff knocked out, get licensed as fast as you can. But my challenge to you is that you, at the same time, are also going through the training hands-on and you're going through the classroom training. Because in my opinion, any dum-dum can get a license. It just takes a little bit of studying. But that's not what's going to help you win. It's going to be a part of it, but what's going to help you win is actually learn our system. Now, when you set your exam is actually about $170 or so in California. Once you pass your exam, you're going to have to pay for fingerprints right there in the location. I think they're called life scan, and it's about $60 or so. Now, these numbers could be a little bit off. I'm just giving you some approximations. Once you pass all this, you're going to go pay the state of California the insurance department fee, which is about $130. So when you add this all up, it could be approximately between $400 to $500, but you don't have to do it all at once. So this is the licensing. When you actually are licensed and you are set up to represent the different companies, that's called appointment. You're going to pay what's called an errors and omissions insurance that we all have to pay into, kind of like a doctor pays for their medical malpractice insurance. Every professional has some type of insurance or errors and omissions, and this is about $35 per month. So that would be your only operating expenses besides your cell phone and your gas. Everything else is given to you. Now, I'm going to grab my sheet so I make sure that I don't lose my steps. I just shared with you who we are and what we do, the training, the licensing. Now, the next question you're probably wondering to yourself is, how do we get our clients? So I'm going to go ahead and erase this and share with you that next. Which, by the way, guys, once you start really doing this over and over, it's just all going to flow and flow. I mean, you're going to be almost like playing chess where you're thinking 5 steps ahead while you're still listening to them and watching their body language. It becomes like this pretty awesome, fluid presentation. So let me share with you about how we get our clients. I've never advertised. I've never cold called. I've never door-to-door knocked. And the challenge that we have in business is that we don't have enough licensed profession to go out and see all the different people that we have to see. So it's the reason for that is because why we have that type of challenge is because we have a referral lead system that we teach our company, our associates. So we're going to teach you that. We're going to show you exactly our lead referral system. We call it the Difference Success System. So we're going to teach that for people that are an associate in the company. So that's how we get our clients. So it's 100%, just to make it very simple, because you probably are thinking to yourself, well, what the heck does that mean? It's 100% referral-based clients that we get. If you're more in sales, it's warm leads, in simple terms. So let me share with you next our compensation, because you're probably wondering, well, what the heck do you guys get compensated to do this? So I'm going to go ahead and draw it out. Our compensation is very simple. I'm going to only share with you two different products because there's so many different things that we do, and we've added more to our platform. But if you're helping somebody, say in one of our flagship products, an Index Universal Life, if it's suitable for them, and they're saving $250 per month, and you multiply that times 12 because they're committed long-term to do this. The companies, the way we structured the contracts is they're going to pay out the first 12 months, which is about $3,000 in commissionable target premium. We call this points. $1 equals 1 point, just for you to kind of get the understanding of what I mean by points. So this is about 3,000 points. So if you take that 3,000, and I'm going to use our compensation ranges between 30% all the way up to anywhere to about 90% or so once you reach the higher levels of the company. But I'm just going to use right down the middle just to keep the number simple. 50% of this, if you went out and did this yourself, that is $1,500, which is huge. Think about this right now. Can you go to your boss right now, give him a big old hug and say, hey boss, can I talk to you for a minute? Can I work a little bit of overtime, or what can I do here at this place so I can make an extra $1,500 this month? They're probably going to be like, well, why don't you show me? Because I want to make an extra $1,500, right? I could just tell you this excites me because an extra $1,000, think about any household across the U.S. right now, an extra $1,000 can go a tremendous way for people. It could help them get out of debt. It could help maybe take their child to a private school. It could help them pay for their car, whatever it is. But $1,000 could go a long way. In addition to that, frankly, I've never met anybody, even people that have money, that would complain if they made more money. So anybody can use an extra $1,000. For me, I was extremely excited to be able to make this right here. This is where my mindset was at when I was an engineer. If I could make an extra $500, you know what that did for me? That paid my cell phone bill, that paid my utilities, that gave me a little bit of breathing room. That extra $500, that's where I was at. But I want you to think about this a little bit bigger than that. You just made a difference in somebody's life. You protect that family. You got them saving a little bit of money for their future. That family is better off with this product, in my belief. And that's just one product. But if you go out and help out 4 people, I'm not trying to blow smoke and mirrors. I'm just telling you, 1 family a week. Once you get good, if you could go out there and help out 1 family a week, what is that? That's $6,000. Now you tell me if this wouldn't be life-changing, or if you wouldn't mind having a nice Christmas or having a nice savings account that gave you peace of mind, right? You're more in control. So you could go out there and do it so much bigger than this. This is just you working as an individual with your pin, kneecap to kneecap, helping 1 family at a time. I'm going to share with you another one of our products. Let's just say we're now in an era where there's a bunch of baby boomers, about 80 million plus, that were born between 46 through 64, that are now going into this retirement phase. Well, guess what? Someone has to help them take their old 401ks, their old accounts, secure their income, and making sure that we're protecting their money that they built up and getting them so they could have that lifetime income. That's what we call that, lifetime income, so they don't ever have to worry about ever running out of money. They have that paycheck coming to them for the rest of their life, for them and their spouse. That is huge. We have products that could do that. So imagine rolling over. I'm going to go ahead and erase. Actually, I'll draw right here. Imagine rolling over an old 401k into a product called an index annuity. Obviously, if it was suitable for them. Say they had $100,000, and on average, these programs will pay anywhere between 3 to 4%. Let's just use 4% to make the numbers easy. That's about $4,000. That's not too bad. You just made $4,000. Pretty awesome, right? So if you just helped out 1 family do this, and 1 family over here do this, that's $5,500. If you helped out 4 people protect their loved ones and you did one of these, that's $10,000. Now, I could go on and on and on with the possibilities, but I want to keep it very simple. If you just helped 1 family a month, let's keep it there. 1 family a month, would an extra $1,500 hurt? No. If you helped out 1 family a month that did this, would an extra $4,000 hurt? No. I hope the gears are spinning like it was for me, because I was thinking of the possibilities of what it could mean in my life. But it's so much more bigger than that. I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg. Today is not about really diving in and trying to give you all of it. I would love to be in business with you, but you have to want to or desire more in your life. Now, I believe in you. That's why I'm talking to you, because I want to get into business with you. So that's our compensation. Now, here's the next thing that I want to ask you. And I gave you guys one more piece, and I think I'm missing it up here. Did you guys capture that? There was one more piece that was missing. Options. There you go. I like the options. Thank you very much for giving me that. Here's the options. Look, there's 3 different types of people that get involved with this. I just shared with you the comp, but there's 3 different types. There's people that get involved because they want to be an inviter or a referral person. I like to call them an inviter because you're just inviting people to get an introduction to what we do, or refer people to us. Let's just say that you referred, one person over. And we did exactly what I just shared with you earlier. That's 3,000 points, right? Because they're saving $250 a month. Well, you split that 50-50. If I referred it over to Melissa, and Melissa went out and helped that client, she just received the client she would have never otherwise had if it wasn't for you referring it over. And you're actually going to get paid on the work that she did, so you wouldn't have gotten paid if it wasn't for her taking the lead on that, right? So you guys work together as a team. You're the referee or the inviter, and she was the professional that helped them, so you guys split this 50-50. So that means that's $1,500 that goes to the field to each. If you're at a 50% contract, you just made $750, which is not too bad. You multiply that, if you did that once a week, you do the numbers. But an extra $750 for referring one person, pretty awesome. The next person is what I call a producer. The reason I call this person a producer is there's going to come a point where you're like, wait a minute, I own the product, I believe in it, I'm talking to my friend, I might as well write the app myself, I have the license. Here, I forgot to mention, you have to get licensed. In order for you to get paid in what we do, you have to be licensed to legally get compensated. Now, as a producer, let's just say you went out and did that. People, right, do this. So 1 person a week. I shared it with you earlier, so that's 12,000 points. If you're at a 50% contract, that's $6,000, which is not too shabby, right? That's what you made by helping 1 person a week. Save a couple $100 into one of these flagship programs, into an Index Universal Life, if suitable, obviously, so that just paid you $6,000. But what if you're somebody that wants to be on our broker's path? I'm personally looking for somebody that wants to be a leader, that wants to lead a team of people, that wants to develop into that teacher type of person that has agents that they train, right? So you want to build an agency. This is our broker's path, and we'll take you through that path through our Difference University to help develop and coach you to become a broker. So let's just say you have a team of 4. I'm not even saying 10 or a team of 20. No, I'm just saying 4 people. 4 people that you meet along the way that say, hey, I want to do this. Is there a way that I could get involved with your company? These 4 individuals, they go out and do this, right? So that's 12,000 times 4. That's 48,000 points. And if you override approximately about, say, 20% of this, what is that, about $9,600? You can check my math. It might be off a little bit, but that's not too bad, right? Can you imagine get paid this plus what you did personally? By the way, this would be a little bit off because if you're at the broker's contract, it's a little bit more, but I'm going to use this number because it's right here. Plus what you did personally on your PIN. So that's $15,600, which is huge. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over my yellow pad and I'm going to say, where do you see yourself most? And the minute they point at one of them, guess what they're telling you? I want in. I want to take a step forward. So now your job at this point is to grab your application. But before you even grab it, so I'm going to go back to the time commitment part. Now, can you commit to Tuesdays? Can you commit to trainings? Can you squeeze that into your schedule? Can you make the arrangements to make that happen? Earlier you said you were. So are you that committed? Will you make that happen? So what can you commit to? So you get the next part of this is you get a time commitment. So here's what I mean by time commitment. Not only are you going to make sure that they verbally say that they're going to commit to the time, but I'm going to take it a little bit further and I say, look, I want to get you started. We're going to fill out the paperwork just to get you enrolled so we can get you started with the training. And if they say, you mean now? I said, yes, now, because I want to get you started in the training by the and also I want to introduce you to Angie, I want to introduce you to Julian, to Carlo. I want to make sure that I introduce you to the people that are my mentors. And if I'm going to introduce you, I want to make sure that you're serious. Right? So the next 90 days, I want you to fully commit. I really want you to commit to this. commit to your future, commit to really learning this. Give me a solid 90 days. Can I count on you on that? Yes, okay, awesome. I'm excited because I know that you and I working together, we're gonna be unstoppable. So here's what I'm gonna do next. And this is when I bring out my membership agreement. I'm gonna say, let's go ahead and get this filled out. So how do you spell your name again? I mean, I probably already know the name. Well, what's your legal name? Let me spell it out. Okay, what's your social? Okay, and the reason you're looking down, you start moving your pen is because naturally it's gonna trigger in their mind, they're gonna start moving forward. And even if they stop, then you overcome whatever concern they have. If you're trying to do it on the computer, I just think that, especially when you're new, having it on paper, like if I was setting a goal for the month that I'm gonna go 4 wide this month. And what I mean by 4 wide is I'm gonna sponsor 4 people myself that I'm gonna go talk to and get involved in business with me. So I'm gonna have 4 applications. They're gonna be burning in my hand. They're gonna be in my binder. I'm gonna carry them with me all the time because I wanna get these 4 knocked out. So here's one thing that I forgot to mention over here before we even go into this, the time commitment, is that the other part that besides your licensing, because I'm gonna go back to the pages and say besides your licensing, there's a membership agreement we call the associate membership agreement, which is only $99. That gives you access to the Difference University. Once you get licensed, it actually gives you an email, so you could put, it's going to be your name at differencefinancial.com. It's also going to allow you to plug into our offices for free, pretty much by becoming an associate. The reason we have everybody that gets involved sponsor their own selves is because, again, you're in business for yourself. You're an independent contractor. Everybody here pulls their little red wagon. So let's go ahead and move forward. The only thing that would ever stop you, and I should have asked you in the very beginning of all this, is you're not a felon, are you? Sometimes I've done that before. I stop like, wait a minute. And then they kind of laugh, I'm not. Okay, well, let's go ahead and move forward. The key thing is getting them to move forward. The other thing that I would do is at this point, if they try to stop you, just say, well, level with me. What is it? Is it because it's a great opportunity and you can see yourself doing well at it? Is it because, level me. Is it the money? What is it? Oh yeah, I don't get paid till next week. Okay, well, let's fill it out right now. And the next week we'll submit it. I just want to get a commitment from you that you're going to move forward with this. So this is actually the presentation. Once you get really good at it, you can knock them out in 15, 20 minutes tops. You just start moving. And what recruits people is excitement, is your body language, is you being excited about what you're doing. That's what recruits people. And also you pouring belief that they could do this too and that you want to do it with them. But if you think that recruiting is going to be because you're going through all the technical things in the industry, that's not what recruits people. What recruits people is excitement, is that it's moving, it's sizzling, it's a great opportunity, great timing to do it, that it could help them position them to get to where they want to be. So wanted to share with you guys, hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of the recruiting one-on-one presentation. The key thing is to go out there and just do it and do it and do it. And if you make mistakes, just study what you've said, what you did, and just try to make it better for the next ones. And if you ever totally mess it up, you could call them back up and say, hey, I totally messed it up. I was excited. Can you at least give me an opportunity or to come meet with Julian or one of the directors at the office? Especially if someone ever pulls back and says, well, I need a little bit more information, and said, well, which part can I help you with? Which part do you need more information on? So figure out what it is that's concerning them. And if they need a little bit more, say, look, great. If you come to a dead end, say, great. Obviously, you wouldn't want information. You would only be asking for information only if you're really serious about looking into this and possibly getting started, correct? Awesome. So knowing that, and I know that you're a very smart person, I know that you won't make a decision until you have everything in your hands. So why don't we at least do this? What if I could set up a time for you to come to the office so you could get a tour, check out our technology, meet some of the folks at the office, especially meet some of the directors. That way you at least have everything, and then you could understand and see it for yourself. Can I at least get your commitment on that? So how's your schedule look like here in the next couple of days? Great. And get them to commit. In fact, I'll pick you up. Let's use my gas I'm gonna at least gonna make a phone call so at least I can introduce you to some of the key people. Is that fair? Awesome. You see that? So you're not taking no ever for an answer. You're taking them now through the next part. Now I'm gonna get them in front of a stronger leader or someone that could possibly get them to move forward. But in the beginning, you just gotta keep trying. And your presentation is just going to get better and better. So I even start speaking faster when I'm excited. So that's today's topic, which was the one-on-one. Practice it, practice it, practice it. Thank you.